Hello and welcome. Thank you for listening. Although the COVID-19 pandemic has slowed down our production, we are still continuing the show, and we have a great episode today. Old Spanish Days Fiesta in Santa Barbara is not just a celebration and tradition, it's a way of life for the city since 1924. For a week every year, the city of Santa Barbara remembers the roots that made it what it is today, a fantastic city. From the Native Americans to the Spanish conquistadores that settled the area, to the early Californians and the Hispanic heritage left behind. For several days, the town puts on a show like no other, full of color and life. From the beautiful pageantry to the unforgettable, colorful performances of so many dancers, to the parades and mercados or market booths, to the delight and smiles of breaking cascarones or confetti-filled eggshells over your loved one's head. This year, however, Old Spanish Days organizers have had to reimagine Fiesta amid the pandemic. How will this look like? I had the opportunity to ask and hear from Old Spanish Days El Presidente Erik Davis, the head of the event, a few days ago during a live show. So for this episode today, we are doing things a little different. We're taking that live discussion and bringing it to the podcast format. Enjoy. DJ, roll that music. So we have today a special guest. We have Erik Davis, the El Presidente of Old Spanish Days. We're going to talk about Fiesta plans and what's happening with it this year. Obviously, because of the pandemic, things have to be different. But how different? Well, we'll talk about that.
Yes, Oscar. How are you, my friend?
I am great. Thank you. Yeah,
good.
Thank you for doing this. And you know that my wife Claire and I, we both love you and your wife. We appreciate the hard work that you did and have been doing for Fiesta all these years. And we're so excited that you're finally El Presidente. That's a great title to have.
Yeah, thanks. No, you guys have been incredible supporters. We have a ton of support in this community. And for those out there, it's a tradition in Santa Barbara, unlike any other. 96 years bringing the community together in celebration and song and dance, reliving our traditions, honoring our heritage, and just bringing forward the Fiesta spirit. It's super special, and this year it was scheduled or is scheduled to take place August 5 through 9. So we're working through this pandemic, putting plans on top of plans, in hopes of bringing joy and that Fiesta spirit to the community, however that looks. It's obviously going to look quite a bit different with large crowds not being possible and things like that. But we are going to make the best of it, and the community outreach in the last few days has just been, it's almost brought me to tears a few times. So
yeah. And it definitely brought tears to some folks that I know very close to me. My wife, she's the biggest Fiesta lover out there. Now she's been doing it since she was a kid, and she was asleep when you did. Yeah, she was asleep when you were when you held the unveiling of the Fiesta pin, Fiesta poster, and the announcements too. Of course, you did an interview with my friend John Palmentary over at KYT, and we for a while we just didn't know where it was going to go, whether it was going to be canceled this year and maybe roll to the next year, or if it was going to go on, and what the planning for that would look like. And so I told her afterwards, as she woke up, I said, hey, this is what's happening, and yeah, she just started crying, because it's heartbreaking for a lot of people that have been doing this for a long time, and I mean, it is the best way I can describe it, I think, to some folks that have never experienced Fiesta is like the whole town parties for a week in celebration of the roots that make Santa Barbara so great. But maybe let's talk a little bit about the planning, because this could not have been an easy decision to go on with this. What was that like, that planning process, and why not just roll it over to the next year?
There's a few things. One, Old Spanish Days Fiesta has been canceled in the past. It started in 1924, and in 1925 was the Great Earthquake. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a full program at that time. But obviously with State Street in rubble, they couldn't have the parade. It continued on, and then in the war years of 1941, 1942, 43, and 44, it was also canceled. And then later, in 1948, it was canceled again, this time due to transition and mostly drought conditions. So it's happened. It's been 72 years, but it's happened. So we looked at it. But canceling Fiesta in this day and age, in my heart, from the very beginning, was not much of an option. This is not 1948 anymore. We have the technology tools to do this interview, to broadcast and take our message to the world. And it's really too important to this community. I mean, this pandemic's different. I think people are going to need a bit of hope and joy and optimism, and that Fiesta spirit more than ever, just more than ever. So from the day one, it's just been on my heart to bring that forward. Not only us, the town's going through some hard times too, with, the businesses closed and the restaurants, and they've been our partners. And if there's any way, we've had incredible support from the city of Santa Barbara, the county of Santa Barbara. And, the economic impacts of Fiesta are just extraordinary, not only for the city and the hotels and the restaurants, but the dancers, the musicians, people who've worked all their lives to participate in it. So at this day and age, I just felt it was too important to do that. So I think the hardest part is planning in a pandemic. What can you do? We don't know. We have made some plans, and then we've also had some plans change the very next day. So, we've got some fresh ideas. The most important thing for us has always been the health and safety of our community. That's going to be number one. We've been in touch with the county supervisors this entire time, the health department, city officials on so many fronts, and they've been just so extraordinary. So we're going to do what we can. Like I said, we unveiled the poster and pin on live television, which was incredible. John Palminteri has been an incredible supporter. KYT's been an incredible supporter. So we were out there on this most beautiful patio. And instead, we normally unveil it at a private dinner to 200, 250 people. Mm-hmm. But this time we were able to unveil it to tens of thousands of people. And I got to say, the orders in the last 24 hours have been just off the charts. We've broken records. So, there's ways that we can do this even better. I think some of the things are going to stick. Obviously, the beauty is being together, being able to dance and enjoy each other's company. And we don't know what that's going to look like, but there's things we can do in a safe and I don't want to use virtual way, because there's going to be experiential components to it and other things that we can do to keep the spirit of Fiesta alive and bring hope and joy to this community.
Yeah, exactly. And that actually brings me up to a question that was just asked on Facebook by Sarah Villalobos. And it regards the theme, really. She's asking, how can people experience the dances of Fiesta, based on the theme of, I believe it's Vamos a Bailar, the theme?
Vamos a Bailar, yes. Let me touch on that. That was the last event we were able to hold. It was late February, and we announced the theme for this year, Vamos a Bailar, translated Let's Dance, at the historic El Paseo restaurant. So it was really a fun night. And for me, dance represents a lot about Fiesta. It's the emotion, it's the passion, it's the colors, it's the dresses, and the dances. It also represents our history. A lot of the events, the dancing that takes place honors our history. So for me, the heart of this has always been dance. Obviously music and other things go into it, but for me, that was really important to bring forward the spirit of dance, as it's just close to my heart. And so that's the theme on it. And as you see at the poster and pin, that also represents that kind of dancing spirit that we can hold, and in ways we're going to do it. So we've got events planned that are going to bring dancing into the home through song and music and dance. We've got, like I said, television partners. We're working on virtual broadcasts. Television viewership's up way high now with everybody at home. So we're going to bring that. We're going to bring that to people, and we also have the digital assets. If we can't be together in person, we're going to bring it to them over television and dance at home if things don't break right.
Yeah. Exactly. Have you partnered up with any business in town to get you the tech that you need to bring about these virtual events?
Well, my day job is an executive director of TV Santa Barbara. So,
Yep.
my background is in digital media, television broadcast. So it's almost, I just almost feel like this moment I was the right person for this moment. It's hard. It's hard. Been hard. I'll be honest. It's been really difficult. But this is yeah. We have incredible partners. KYT again. What they were able to do the other night, and what we've got planned for Fiesta Pequeña. Bringing that show to the people. So yeah, we have the infrastructure to do it. Our Facebook post when we on the announcement reached 20,000 people, which is pretty big. And so, yeah, we have the infrastructure, we have the partners, we have the tools to do it. And the outpouring of support from local businesses, the downtown organization has been just tremendous. Parks and Rec, really, really, really amazing.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about the planning for Fiesta Pequeña, because that's the one event that kicks off Fiesta for. I mean, it's been like that ever since I can remember. The biggest little show in town, if you will. But this time, because of obviously what's going on with the pandemic, you can't have large gatherings, and this is one of those events where you kind of feel the electricity of the crowd because the crowd gets to be that big. So what are the planning, or what does that planning look like for Fiesta Pequeña this year?
Well, and it changes every day, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing in this pandemic. Planning in a pandemic is really impossible. We looked at options to hold it at the Mission without crowds. But, how do you block that off? And even if you do, people are going to come flooding to the barriers because it's so special. Yeah. And like I said, health and safety is going to be our number one priority, working with county and city officials. So we have a live broadcast scheduled that incorporates, if possible, live dancing at secure venues around town, historic clips, live narrative with Beth, the CJ, myself, and Father Larry, kind of taking us through the journey. And the other thing that this provides us the opportunity to do is bring forward some of our history, some of the historical clips that we have. It's going to be fun. It's going to look different, but it's still going to be fun. And I'm thinking it's going to be one of the larger watched shows in Santa Barbara history, I hope. So we're dealing it with that way. Like I said, health and safety first, looking for creative ways. We're going to be nimble. We're going to be innovative. But again, it changes. So,
have some of these other events that have been well known throughout Fiesta changed as well, or have they been? Are they also going through an innovation type of planning, such as, for example, the Dignitarios event at the zoo, those types of events? What's the future of those this year?
Yeah, I could touch on a few of those, and the theme that what we're using the term is reimagined. Fiesta Reimagine for 2020. Let me give you an example. So you go to the mercados, right? And there's bands that play, and it's food vendors. So what we're going to do with a reimagined mercado is we're going to have Fiesta music and dance parties. So Fridays in July, we're working with an incredible team of Mike Lazaro at the Alcazar Theater in Carpinteria, the Carriage Museum. There's been a team assembled to bring forward some incredible acts, some bands that we can televise and stream into homes, interspiced with dancing and maybe restaurant recommendations so we can give back to those restaurants that have been affected. So we're going to continue with the dance. We're going to continue with the bands. We're looking at some of the usual names that you'll hear, in addition to some really big names in terms of giving back. So we're going to bring dance and music into the homes for now. And that's just one idea of adapting the mercado style thing to avoid crowds. Digs is a partnership with the zoo, and that's still being reimagined right now. Other ones, we have the Flower Girl program, and if there's ways that we can bring flowers to this community, bring a little bit of joy to this community, even if it's shipping or pickup, we're going to do that too. So, and then there's some really cool things that have come forward. Like just this week alone, Gary Simpson at the Home Improvement Center has been working with us. They're going to order colored lights. Red, yellow, green. We're going to sell all the bunting, the flags and the bunting through the Home Improvement Center. Just an incredible partnership that they reached out. And we're going to light this town up in red and yellow. And we're going to put flags everywhere, working with the downtown organization. So, bringing that spirit alive, it's going to be special. So I'm excited about little things like that if we remain in this kind of lockdown mode.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And just, I was just reading this this company named Moderna, who's working on a vaccine for COVID-19, has actually gotten success now. And so now their vaccine is still needs to go through some phases, but it's looking real promising. And they're saying that they might have the vaccine roll out to the public by the end of the year. But obviously, Fiesta takes place in August, but it seems like things are looking up somewhat, and right now there's still Santa Barbara County and Ventura County have been two of the counties in the Southern California area that have gotten approval from the state to for a speedy reopening. And we're seeing some signs of that too. I was just looking at pictures from a friend of mine who the picture showed a dining table set up on the actual State Street for people to come in and enjoy a dine-in experience outside.
Yeah,
and that seemed really cool. So who knows where we're gonna be by the time Fiesta rolls around? But you're keeping your mind open to all the changes that are going day by day. Is that kind of how you're planning things, just going day by day?
And week by week, and sometimes hour by hour. Constant communication with Supervisor Greg Hart and County Health. The vaccine thing is not as optimistic, as this year, but we're going to. Things we can do now, like the unveiling of the poster and pen, and I'd love to talk to you a little bit about the process there.
Yes,
was something that brought incredible joy to people. I was just floored by the comments that have come rolling in. It just warmed my heart. And like I mentioned, the online sales through the Fiesta site yesterday broke records. People were going to buy the poster and the pen at record rates, and it just blew me away. So I think there's this, clamoring for a little bit of hope, a little bit of color, a little bit of dance, a little bit of joy. And for me, that's embodied in the poster.
Yeah, and we're looking at the poster right now. It's when I first saw it, my jaw dropped. It is a gorgeous poster. I want a poster so I can frame it and put it up somewhere in the house here that I can take a look at every day, because it does bring a wonderful cheer. I mean, I love the colors. I love that you see the mission in the back. And on the left side, it looks like you can see the beach. So maybe talk a little bit about the poster and how you came up with this concept.
Sure. Last May, Angelique and I, Angelique's my wife, who's been part of this Fiesta process with me, and it's just been so incredible. Even through this 2 months, which has been really hard, she's been my rock. We were able to go to Sevilla last year during their feria. It's like Fiesta, but it's big. It's huge. It's a week long, and the whole town shuts down, and they dress. It's football fields wide with gathering and horses. We're so fortunate to be able to see it. It was just words can't describe how special that was. So, we went to get some clothes and, shawls, and just get the experience and get some ideas. And as we kind of walked through town and enjoyed it, we saw some of the tile work and the posters. Some of the, they have a poster every year there too that represents it. And so we looked at that. We probably brought 10, 15, 20 concepts back home. And then one of the things I've always liked are the vintage old posters. Some of the ones from, the early years. They're kind of almost larger than life kind of poster art that I really like. And so last year, there was an artist named Andrew Leonard who did my iModernary Square for TV Santa Barbara. And he just knocked it out of the park. Absolutely knocked it out of the park. He brought kind of really a local flavor to it. And shortly thereafter, I asked him if he would be interested in doing the poster this year. And he just jumped for joy. He was so honored. And then he dove into it. He started going to the Historical Museum and the Glen Hill Library, doing research on old posters. He came away with a concept that in that back scene comes from like an old 1940s travel program, tourism program. And then for me, the mission's always been super special. It's I wanted to incorporate the mission into that. The beach is my happy place. So there's that component too. And it took a little while. I mean, being a creative, I enjoyed the process tremendously. And so we started working on it. We had a few lunches at Paradise Cafe, went through concepts. I don't know how many hundreds he did. And it's all digital. It's the coolest thing, the way he was able to modify it. And then we came down to 4 or 5 selections and modified it and then continued to work it, but until probably, right before the pandemic hit. And then we finalized that. And the pin has kind of a similar flavor, a little bit different. But it's just something that really resonated with Angelique and I, and Andrew did an incredible job with it. So it's something I'm really proud of, and I hope everybody continues to kind of go out and buy it at sbfiesta.org/shop. You can find it right off our site. But yeah, to me, it's a combination of Sevilla to Santa Barbara and dance and the theme of Vamos a Bailar, while kind of having that iconic Santa Barbara feel to it. So that's the story.
Well, and then as we're looking at the poster, we're going to transition into the pen too here. So now we're seeing the pen, and this one has also a unique design that I haven't seen. I don't know if I've ever seen it or if it has. It's been years and years, but it does seem very unique to me, especially with the openings on in between the lettering here that we're seeing. But it's such a beautiful pen, and the pen's usually best on the poster too. But can you talk a little bit about the design of the pen and what that concept was like?
Yes, dancing couples have been part of Fiesta posters and pins in the past. There's that iconic one that's been used dozens of times, just changing the color of the dress and stuff. But yeah, the pen just was kind of the very similar thing. We nailed it down to a couple dance poses that we really like, and it played to it. And then again, this is on Andrew. He went and did all kinds of research of past pins. He spent hours at the historical library doing research of what worked and pulled this together. I think it's just beautiful, and it plays on the roses. I love the color, the red and black of Fiesta, the big sash, the shawls, the flower in the hair. And of course, the mission with the flags. And Lisa Burns, who's the wife of a former past Presidente, Scott Burns, found this photo from like 40s or 50s where they actually hung these old flags like that on the mission at sundown. And it's just such an incredible photo. And so we incorporated that into the poster and pin as well.
Wow. It's amazing. That's one of the things I love about the posters and the pins. There's always some historical references to it, and you just did such a fantastic job with these two. I'm in love with the design this year. I love it. I get all giddy over it.
Yeah, good. And that just sets the tone, right? That's what we're trying to do, and we
Yeah.
can do it digitally, and we can do it better. Like I said, instead of launching it to 250 people in a room, we took it to tens of thousands of people on live TV. And so there's ways that we can do it.
Exactly. And yeah, there's I'm seeing the comments of folks come in on Facebook. So by the way, thank you for everybody that's commenting and putting out questions. So I am seeing some about certain events like dancing and stuff like that, and like you just touched on, many of these events will probably be televised or put on a virtual platform somehow. And that's a great thing. I think maybe just even 5 years ago, we probably couldn't do anything like what we're doing now. So the technology has just gotten us so far, and I don't think I'll probably ever experience a fiesta that has used so much technology as this year. And I think you're the perfect person to do it. Do you believe in fate?
Yeah, that's crossed my mind a couple times. Yeah, it's hard to swallow, but you think of that.
Yeah, because you with your background in television, I just couldn't imagine somebody else put in the role that you're in right now for this time that we're going through. It's like I said earlier today, it's heartbreaking the hands that we've been dealt with, but you're doing really awesome with what you've been experiencing, and that's a great testament to you and the rest of the team that is helping put this event together. Now, are the dates still happening the way they've always been, or for this year, or have those dates changed somehow?
No, we looked at postponing it. We looked at every single option there was, but we don't know what the fall is going to look like either, right?
Yeah.
And Fiesta is such a unique event that we decided to stick with it, and it's we have a dedicated board of directors that are just been through this, and but it's also this community is just I can't tell you. Just this week, the downtown organization reached out to us and said we're going to fly Fiesta flags along State Street for not just 1, but 2, maybe 3 weeks, because it's just the moments like that that this community is going to really rally around it. I've thought from the outset, and it's just on my heart, that this community is going to need a little bit of Fiesta. And we've been locked down for 2 months. It's still 2.5 months away. So we're going to continue to put plans on plans. And hopefully we can get to some of the live dancing and being together. But we're gonna do it big, and we're going to do it great, regardless of how that looks. And take this Fiesta to the world.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about the technology that is being used right now. Yeah, you have the ability to have everybody see it without necessarily going there. One of the big crowds that come out to Fiesta every year come out from the LA area, which is where I am now.
Yep.
And this year, of course, we don't anticipate that happening, but you always have such a fan base out here in LA that it's great to know that they're going to be able to enjoy some of these events that are happening. But the mercados, of course, they're not going to be out and about as you mentioned. But with modifications, it's not the same. But I love a quote that you actually said on your KUIT interview with John Palmentary, which was, Fiesta lives in our hearts. It's not something you can cancel. And that really resonated because it's true. You get it. For all the times that I've been to Fiesta and experienced it, growing up in Santa Barbara, born and raised, it was always a visual thing with it. But after my wife and I moved for our jobs, we still kept that spirit alive inside of us. So it's such a beautiful quote that I got from you. But before we wrap this up, I just want to give you the last word to give out a message to everybody, the dancers, the folks that are the residents that are just going to be out there watching some of this stuff from home, to all the people that would otherwise be coming from out of town, and to the rest of the world. Just I want to end on a positive note here.
Yeah, but first, my heart goes out to everybody that's been affected by this. It's hit our town hard. You know, it's hit festivals and music and dance really, really, really hard. But we're going to do all we can to bring the joy and spirit of Fiesta to this community, however that looks. Like I said, we're positioned well with our partners, our digital assets, the backing of this community, the people that make up the fabric of Santa Barbara are just special. And so we are going to do what we can to bring a little hope, bring joy, bring optimism, and love to everyone through Fiesta. And we'll continue to work tirelessly. There are going to be mistakes. Things are going to change. Things are going to look different today than they will next week. So we're going to be creative. We're going to be adaptive. And I just ask that you stick with us, trust us, and you know that Fiesta does live in the heart. Even talking with you today, my heart is full. Just thinking about it. So, yeah, watch us on our Facebook page. sbfiesta.org is the website. We're going to have more details. We're going to unveil things. We've got some special things planned that we just can't promise right now. But we're going to continue to work through it. But go get the poster and the pin at sbfiesta.org/shop. And then keep an eye out. The next big thing we're going to announce and roll out is the Friday music and dance series, which is going to be pretty incredible. And we're going to be working on that next week too. We have some ideas for an incredible parade, a reimagine parade. So that we'll be coming forward with that, and then you'll hear more details about ways you can participate and ways you can contribute to this Reimagine Fiesta 2020.
Love it. Thank you for that message. Thank you for taking time to come on today and putting a lot of people's minds at ease. I think for those that missed the interview with John Palmentary, this was a great way for them to kind of get updated on what's happening with Fiesta, and what a better spokesperson than El Presidente.
Thank you, Oscar.
Old Spanish Days Fiesta will take place this year on August 5 through the 9th. Don't forget to connect with Eric and Old Spanish Days on social media and check out their website for more information. The links are in the description to this episode. I've also included a link to my live quarantine show in the description. If you have any comments or questions regarding this episode or the podcast in general, send them to the Hangry Mexican Podcast at gmail.com. Again, that's Hangry Mexican Podcast at gmail.com. I would love to feature some of your comments on a later episode. And please rate the Hangry Mexican Podcast on Apple Podcasts and all other major platforms we are streaming on. The more you rate, the more ears this podcast will reach. I really appreciate your support. Thank you for listening, and until next time, stay safe, good night, and good luck.